I call a whistle wall, 5 minutes.
Kia ora, Mr Speaker. Inga mana i ngā reo rangatirama, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Last week, actually, a few of us, Joe Hayes, Porter Williams and myself, were in Samoa. And one of the issues that we discussed over there actually was the use of Samoan in the Samoan Parliament and whether or not bills could be and should be written in Samoan. And the reality for that Parliament is that at the moment they only write in English. We had a member of the Fijian Parliament with us and they're not allowed to speak Fijian in their Parliament. They can only speak English. And so while the bill was being debated over here and having that kōrero over there, actually it is a time for celebration because we today will have a bill that is in English and te reo. Most of the debate today has been in te reo, and actually it speaks a lot about our society, our government and our progression in terms of our te reo and our use of te reo here in Parliament. I really want to speak to a couple of supplementary order papers, and I have to because one of them was in my name and I wasn't here. And so I want to acknowledge that the Minister on Te Karere said that the members of Te Mātāwai should be those who are knowledgeable, most experienced at managing language programs in the community, and they have to be fluent. And I just want to highlight that the reason I put in my supplementary order paper to ask the Minister to make sure that women were on Te Mātāwai is that I hope that of those 7 iwi representatives, there will be a woman. Of the 4 clusters, there will be a woman. Because if there isn't, because we have processes that for whatever reason don't enable Māori women to be on that board, the Minister has 2 appointees. And so I just wanted to put it out there that if we're looking at who has managed those language programs in our community, it is the Kohanga Reo Trust. And I want to take the opportunity to mihi to Whai Drew Sparrett and her whānau in Waitomo. I was at the tangi of her husband Jim on Monday with members of Te Ropu Wahine Māori Toku i Te Ora. And so, you know, it was a very sad time, but it was also a wonderful opportunity for us to be together and to hear all the reo and to hear how, you know, how much love there was for Matua Jim. Now, the other supplementary order paper that I want to highlight is actually that of my colleague, the Honourable Nanaia Mahuta. And I think the apology that she proposed really was an opportunity for the government to say sorry. Because actually that's what it's all about. If you look at, you know, the reference that Nanaia made in her bill to, oh, and I've lost that piece of paper, to the suppression of the Crown and our inability to use te reo, we really need to look at the Waitangi Tribunal hearing in 1985, which basically stated that Māori who spoke te reo were punished, and so the Crown failed to uphold the Treaty of Waitangi obligations to protect the language. And so in response, we have an acknowledgement in the bill that the Crown suppressed te reo Māori. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, it actually means that the Crown, by their authority, abolished and stopped our ability to use te reo at school. Because we're talking about the Native Lands, that's right, I've got it now, Native Schools Act. We weren't allowed to use te reo. And every one of us in our whānau have got stories about our, in my case, my father's, my uncles being strapped. They weren't allowed to use te reo. They didn't use te reo. We didn't use te reo at home. Some of my uncles did, but in our particular whānau, my father just said, you've got to get an education. Forget about the reo, get an education. And so I think the acknowledgement of suppression actually puts a huge onus on the Crown, because if our inability to use our language was because of the Native Schools Act, then actually the solution lies in making sure that every single Māori kid at school has an opportunity to learn te reo. So if this piece of legislation takes us to a place where every Māori kid gets to learn te reo in school, then that will be an amazing day. And it will be a day to say hallelujah, which is my middle name, by the way, Marama. Hallelujah. And so that's what I hope for this piece of legislation. That's what we all hope for this legislation. Nō reira, tēnā tātou katoa.